Vera, Vera Wong's Vera Wong's unsolicited advice. Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new channel of. Today we'll be talking about some of the best books I have read last year in different genres. I have read around like 150 plus books in 2024. So like me, you grab your coffee or teacup and let's dive right into it. So starting off with my comfort zone, which is romance. And I have 4 books to recommend in this genre. The first 2 books will be no big surprises because they were like everywhere last year. Like everyone was talking about it and everyone was reading it. And they're very, very great books if you are in mood for a summer read. One is Funny Story by Emily Henry and the second one is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Starting off with Funny Story. Now, if someone asks someone like, how did you meet your partner? And they say, funny story, me and my partner, we were actually dating each other exes. And then they ran away together, abandoning us and making us live in a forced proximity. And then we had to start fake dating to make them jealous. Interesting plot, and it gets even spicier. And Emily Henry's back with all her banter. It's light and it'll give you a very breezy and nice read if you were looking for something around that. Just for the Summer, on the other hand, it deals with a little bit more heavier topics like mental illness. Like our main 2 characters, they are going through a lot in their lives. But having said that, it doesn't take away from the romantic element from the plot. It's there all along and you're in for it. And they have like such amazing, great date ideas. Like the amount of effort the guy puts in to go out with this girl, it's so good. Like often you read a romance and you're like, by the time they say I love you to each other and you're like, no, I'm not buying it. That's not true. That's not happening in 3 months. But Just for the Summer is not that. When they say I love you to each other at the end, you're going to root for it and you're going to believe it. Moving on to a slightly different tone of a slow burn romance and my very, very favorite author in this genre, which is Mariana Zapata. And I have rated like almost all her books like with a 5-star. And this is just one of them, which I read last year, and it's called The Best Thing. This one is a second chance romance. It's more grounded, it's more about families and love. And after having read this book, I thought it was as cute as a baby panda. The last one I want to recommend here is a very different take again. It's a Regency romance and it's called The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. I really like Tessa Dare and the way she writes all these Regency romance, the historical romance, and it just takes you to some other era. And the dialogues are witty, but then they're like in the Regency era dialogues, so like they hit you a bit differently. And all the male characters, the male MCs, they're like so good. Like they either are like a rake or some sort of things, but then like the way they change for the girl, it's just so nice to see and it's so rewarding to read this. Again, all of these are very light reads, very happy endings, so like you can just go into them and just have a fun time with all of them. Moving on to my another favorite genre, which is mystery thriller, and I'm going to recommend 2 books over here. They are like miles apart from each other. They are so different from each other. The first one is None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This book is a psychological thriller. Have you ever felt like that? Like when someone asks you to do something, but then you can't say no. You want to say no, but you can't say no because you're just you're just that type of person. Like I'm that person. Like sometimes people ask me of things and I just can't say no even though I want to. And this book is precisely that. Like there's this intruder who comes into our female MC's life and she just appends it in a horrible way. She just forces herself into some situations in which our main character can't get out of. Then it just goes into its own whirlwind of what happens, and you have to read the book to know what happens. One thing about this book is I highly recommend the audiobook because it's like in the form of like podcasts and radio elements, and the audiobook like really enhances the experience to another level. So try to get the audiobook if you can for this one. My next recommendation for the mystery thriller, which I said it's like a cozy mystery, it's called Vera Wong's Unsolicited. Vera Wong's Unsolicited advice. Vera Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie K. Sutanto. Now, all the fans of the Thursday Murder Club, like, you need to give this book a try because this book was so sweet. Like, Vera as a character, like, she's this grandma character who just puts her nose into everyone's business and into murders. Like, really, like, no one asked for it, but she's there to provide her advice, and it's so amazing. Being an Indian myself, I know in Asian households, like, whenever probably your mom calls you, and the first thing she's going to ask you, oh, did you eat your food? What did you eat today? And she's very concerned about that. And Vera is precisely that, and she loves feeding people, and this book also has like a found family trope, which is so heartwarming to read. It was so nice. I got the second book. I have to still read this one to give my thoughts, but the first book was a blast. And if you're just in mood for something very cozy and nice and cute, like, go for this book. Moving on to sci-fi. Now, this is science fiction is a genre which I normally don't read a lot. I don't know why. I think I just read romance and thrillers a lot. But I have one book to recommend which I really liked last year. It was a very different book. It's a collection of short stories called Out There by Kate Folk. If you're a fan of anthologies like Black Mirror, if you're a fan of the Twilight Zone, so series like this, which are like dark, which are like a bit gritty, which not necessarily have a happy ending, and you are fine with some amounts of weirdness in them, this book is then definitely for you. Like, this book was so different from normally what I have read. Like, after reading like 3 stories, I couldn't stop myself. Like, I just had to go through all of them, and like they all had a very good science fiction element in them, which made it even more special. Just go and trust me on this and go for this book if you are into such kind of series. Moving on to a genre which is a very hit and miss for me, which is literary fiction. Like, I have hated books in this, and I have just like love books, and I'm going to recommend 2 books which I read last year, which absolutely blew me away. First book is Stay With Me by Ayomami Adebayo. I love this book. Like, I don't want to say anything about this book because I went into this book blind and I was just shook by it. It's not like a mystery or thriller. It's basically domestic stuff that's happening, but it has that mystery element or that wow factor in places. Like, part of the book I was just reading and I was like, oh, what just happened? So, and it has like the backdrop of Nigeria, which makes it very unique. So if you want to read something on which is based in Africa, and the story is knitted and wholesome, and it's going to make you think, and after you finish this book you're just going to like think like, oh wow. And the ending was just brilliant. Like, I love the ending of this book. I'm not going to say it's happy or sad. Moving on to a book which deals with a little bit of dark subject matters. It's My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Now, this book might not be for everyone looking for a happy book to read. Like, this book is definitely not that. And this book is a very heartwarming book. A lot of women can probably relate to it. The protagonist of this book, she has like a very strong voice. She's probably not going to react the way you would ideally think a person in that situation reacts. But like, she was a teenager when things happened to her, and probably it's her take on things, and it doesn't always have to be how a society would expect you to react. It's her story to tell, and I feel like this book precisely does that, tells it the way the protagonist in the story would tell the story. This book is very hard to read, but it's so rewarding. It's going to stay with you years later when you think, oh, what was that book that just totally blew me away, and probably this is the book for that. And the next category that I want to talk about is mythology. This is a category which I've started recently reading, and I do find a lot of books enjoyable. The first one which I'm going to recommend is Clytemnestra by Constanza Casati. Clytemnestra, she's a mother, she's a monarch, and she's magnificent, and she's also a murderer. Like, that's precisely what the blurb of the book says. And this is like unhinged women. This is like a strong female character and misunderstood character in history, and you see it from a point of view which is a very feminist take. This book is over 400 pages, but trust me, it's going to read like a book which is a 200-page book because so much is happening. It grips you from right on, and you just like reading to see what happens, and you see all the grief this character has to go through and the decision she takes and why she takes because of these events. I believe this was a debut from the author, but it was a great debut if it was one. And the last book which I'm going to recommend here is Medusa's Sisters by Lauren J. Abier. So I wouldn't have picked up this book, but my husband gifted it to me, and then I started reading it and I loved it. So what's so special about this book is this book talks about sisterhood in a manner which I believe represents true sisterhood. Like, it's not all happy go merry, I love you sister, and it's just not that. Like, it has elements of jealousy, it has elements of seeing each other's downfall, but it also has elements of standing up for each other for a long time. This book captures those moments, those essence in such beautiful details. This book is not about Medusa. Like, to be honest, like, Medusa was the most annoying character for me in this book, but it's about her two sisters and how Medusa's decisions affect their lives and what they do. A really good mythology, like about two forgotten characters, I feel. I'll definitely give this book a try if you're looking for something different in mythology, some characters you probably don't know about. So that was the last book. If you have read any of those, let me know your thoughts below on how you liked them, what worked and what didn't work. Probably also just drop a comment on what was your favorite books that you read last year. Don't forget to like, subscribe and join us for more book chats, which we hopefully will post every week. Have a great day. Shubh Ratri.